Greetings and salutations, viewers. I am Charles from Inspire the Muse at ConnectiCon 2018. We are on the show floor with a very cool artist, Selan.
Hello.
Thank you for taking some time out to talk to us about all of your fabulous stuff that you can see in the background.
No problem.
So we see that you do artwork, you have some books on the table, some nice bookmarks, and you have a game in the works as well.
Yeah, we're calling it Project Neon right now. We haven't decided on the final title. We've got a couple things kicking around. But the concept of it is that you play as an android who lives in a city that is completely overlaid with augmented reality. Nobody sees what the real world looks like. They just kind of, it's sort of like if the Matrix were actually overlaid over the real world instead of just being in a pod.
Kind of like the Matrix on Google Glasses or something?
Yeah, like that. And so you as a robot are tasked with solving a mysterious problem in the city. And it has branching storylines.
Oh,
so
cool.
There are different approaches you can take as to what you want to do about this problem. We're very early in development right now. We've been working on it a month. So mostly we have some graphics and we're fixing up the mechanics right now.
Very cool.
But we're doing this on our Patreon. So we're kind of doing it as a thing where you can follow us from the beginning. If you back us on our Patreon, you can watch us. We'll be posting test builds, demos, graphics, concept art, so you can see the game as it evolves, and our patrons will be able to give us suggestions. So if they say, I don't like this character, please add an option for me to punch this character, we'll do that. If there's a side quest that they don't like how it resolved, we'll go and add some other way to resolve it, that sort of thing.
Very cool. What inspired the video game?
Well, the initial idea came from my partner Tiffany over here. She was basically doodling cyberpunk androids.
As you do.
Yeah, and came up with a really cool aesthetic. So she decided to come up with a concept to go with that aesthetic. And so we've just been building off of it ever since.
That's really cool. And we saw you also had some books on the table.
Oh, yes. We have so many books. We have 3 series right now that are already out. We have Dimension Noir, which is one of mine. It's about a detective who travels to another dimension, tries to solve some crimes, gets involved in some magical mobster shenanigans. Also, there are some eldritch horrors lurking about. Then we have Alien Spike, which is Tiffany's project. It is a fantasy sci-fi. It basically takes the concept of what if a magical universe like Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings got to the space age. So it's way in the future. There's magic, there's werewolves, but there's also like spaceships and space travel.
Space wolves.
And lots of aliens. That's my favorite part of it, is all the different kinds of aliens. Then we also have Evil for the Win, which is a script-style novel. Those other 2 were comics. And it started as a dialogue exercise for me back in 2007 when I was in college, and it ballooned into my magnum opus, so I've been turning it into a book series now.
That's awesome.
Making illustrations and whatnot. And that one just follows the daily lives of a group of supervillains. They're all idiots, all of them. And, sometimes they're fighting heroes, sometimes they're getting into huge conflicts, but most of the time they're at the mall throwing pennies at the security guards' heads. We have a couple other books in the works right now. We're working on a series called Almanac for Doomed Travelers. That one is me and Tiffany's first collaboration project where I can't even say which of us does the art and writing because we kind of go back and forth on all of it. But it's based on our D&D adventures, so we took all of our best shenanigans from D&D and then strung them into one storyline. And then I have a couple of standalone novellas that will be coming out soon. I have one half written now and one that I have outlined. So we got a lot of irons in the fire.
Very nice. Now, here's a very tough question.
Oh, yeah?
What's your preferred D&D edition?
Okay, here's the thing. Every single game I've played, I've only played like one session of. From what I've seen and what little I've played of it, I like 5th edition because it's got the simplicity from 4th, but not overly simple like 4th. I
It's
played,
still approachable.
Yeah, I played 4th briefly, but I didn't care for it. We've done a lot of Pathfinder, and I enjoyed that, but
Nice.
it has a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I always have to ask people, okay, what am I rolling? I'm
It-
really bad at keeping track of everything. I always have to have a very patient DM.
Pathfinder is great in that there's a lot to it, but it's very easy to get overloaded.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of the stories that we're using for Almanac for Doomed Travelers actually comes from Pathfinder. Although a couple of the shenanigans come from some odd miscellaneous ones. Our second issue is going to be based on some stuff from Supernatural
Oh, nice.
tabletop, where we're having to change that one quite a bit to fit the setting, but yeah.
Very cool. Where can our viewers out there learn more about your works and your Patreon?
Well, we're at epicyclestudios.com. That's like the word epic, but epicycle. It's an archaic astronomical term. I have a
Really?
story for that if you'd like to hear it.
May we hear it?
All right. So when everybody thought that the universe revolved around the Earth, they had to explain how retrograde motion happens, because the planets don't just go straight across the sky. A bunch of them go doot, 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 and then go backwards a
Yeah.
bit, and then go forward. So they came up with the concept of epicycles. Instead of going in a circle around the Earth, they do little loop-de-loops, drawing a little spirograph in the sky, sort of. So those are called epicycles, and it kind of encompasses what we do, because it's a little bit of science, but it's mostly bullshit.
And hopefully a lot
I
of
hope
fun.
that language was all right.
Yes.
Okay.
And where can they find your Patreon?
Our Patreon is patreon.com/Epicycle Studios. And aside from following our game, you also get access to Almanac for Doomed Travelers. As we complete the pages, we put them on Patreon. We also do early access. You get to see our posters before everyone else. We post high quality versions of them. If you back us for $10 or more, you get ebook versions of every one of our books.
That's awesome.
So you get a lot of stuff for following us.
I highly encourage our viewers out there to go check them out, check out the Patreon, see what shiny baubles intrigue you, and go purchase them. And if later on in the future the video game comes out, post a review on it or talk about it, raise the visibility, all those good things, let other people know. And until next time, as always, go be creative.